Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today to put some makeup on my face. Now, spoiler alert, this is the look I've created. It is a little bit more dramatic than I was sort of expecting, but I wanted to go for something with more of a dewier, lighter skin, a little bit bronzy, a little bit sparkly, a little bit bold and red, just because I miss wearing makeup, and this is the sort of look that I would create if I was going out for a cocktail. Now, this video is in collaboration with Adore Beauty. So if you're not familiar with Adore Beauty, they actually do have a YouTube channel, which I'll link down below. I've only recently discovered it. They pretty much do a lot of tips and tricks and demos on there, which is pretty helpful. I actually am appreciating watching beauty content that isn't about drama and is all about tips. So that's a refreshing one to follow.
One of the cons of vitamin A is that it's very sensitive to oxygen and light. So the packaging and the formula and the stability of that formula is very, very important. So anything in a jar, useless.
And if you're familiar with my channel, I don't actually accept many sponsorships. And if I do accept them, they've got to be a brand or a website that I personally use and I'm happy to endorse. And I've actually been a customer of Adore Beauty for at least 5 or 6 or 7 years now. Now, what I like to do is tell you the terms of the sponsored video because I feel like transparency is really important when it comes to sponsorships. And essentially what they wanted me to do is mention their YouTube channel, link it down below, and use products from their website and link those to their website as well. So that was the terms. That's all it is. They gave me freedom to do everything else, which I really, really appreciate. Now, if you're not familiar with Adore Beauty, like I said, I've been ordering from them for years and years. They're Australia's longest running online beauty store. And they're known for their really fast shipping. If I order in the morning, I get my order the very next day. And they also throw in a cheeky Tim Tam, which I always appreciate. So thank you, Adore Beauty, for that. They're also the official stockists for over 250 brands. So some examples of skincare that they stock that I use in my daily routine. The SPF that I've been using religiously every day lately is from Ultraviolet. So they stock Ultraviolet. They stock La Roche-Posay, which has been a brand that I have been using for years and years and years now. This is actually something I use on my baby. So this Cicaplast Balm B5 is fantastic for nappy rash and also dribble rash. I apply it multiple times a day and it clears it up in no time. So this is actually my moisturizer that I have on the go at the moment, the Effaclar Matte. They also stock The Ordinary and Bioderma. They also stock my favorite lash brand. I'm not sure if you can see my drawer that's full of Model Rock lashes. I love Model Rock. I also love their lash glue. So they stock Model Rock. They stock my favorite candle company, Glass House. When it comes to hair products, they stock brands like Orbay, Olaplex, Kerastase, Redken, Moroccan Oil, R&Co, Uemura Hair, GHD. I bought my Cloud9 hair straightener from Adore Beauty not that long ago. I picked up my first Smith & Colt nail polish from them as well, so that's what I'm wearing today. This is in the shade Poppy Puppy. It's a really beautiful, vibrant, almost, orangey coral, like almost neon red. It's really, really beautiful. Packaging as well, gorgeous. If you're after like a Christmas present for someone who loves nail polishes, these are very, very beautiful. So I'm going to run through the products that I picked up through Adore Beauty recently, and then everything else that I mentioned in this video I already had in my collection. The first thing I wanted to pick up was an Ombre Elise Le Creme Concentrate. The reason why I wanted to pick this up was because it just gives me like the nostalgia vibes. This sort of summed up the best, like the base product everyone wanted about 8 years ago in the beauty community because the Pixie Woo sisters talked about this so much. I picked this up from my first ever eye mats, and I'm glad that Adore Beauty stock it because it's one of those products that I think a lot of people know about, but they don't know exactly where to buy it. So I have been using this as just a basic moisturizer. You can also use it as a primer, like a hydrating primer under your makeup. I was going to use it for that reason in this video, but I realized that the foundation that I've been wearing goes a little bit too dewy over the top of this. So if you've got dry skin, this is a beautiful base. Otherwise, it's just a beautiful moisturizer. I really wanted a new base product. I feel like a lot of the products in my current collection are either like BB creams or they're really full coverage, but I wanted something that will wear well in summer, will wear well under a mask, but not be too full coverage. So I decided to try the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. Now this shade is Desert Beige, which is a little bit too light for me, but I can definitely bronze it up, and that's what I've done today. I've sort of gone a little bit ham with the bronzer, but what I really like about this, it's sort of like a budge proof, sort of semi-matte finish foundation. You can definitely make it a little bit more dewy with what you can put over the top of it, but it's not really heavy coverage. It's a nice lighter coverage. It gives you a bit more perfection going on, but nothing too sort of blanking out the face, which is what I've been after at the moment. Also wears really nicely under masks, which is great. Then I really wanted a one and done eye product because lately with a baby, I don't have much time to do my makeup. So I really wanted to try this product from Smith & Colt. So I did pick up the nail polish and I also picked up this cream eyeshadow. This is in the shade Bronze and it's got a blackened base, so it does give a bit of a smoky effect, but it's got multi-dimensional shimmer that almost looks green, gold, purple, bronze. It's really, really pretty. And the reason why I wanted to pick this up is because I've seen Melissa Gold sort of talk about this in her sort of one and done eyeshadow video, and it's really intrigued me, and it's a really, really beautiful effect. So I'll be demonstrating this. And the last thing I picked up is again a Cult product, but it's one I haven't tried. It's actually from MAC. This is the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in Light Plus. So it's a mineral powder and it's really nice if you want to set your base without it being too mattified. So yeah, I thought I'll demonstrate that. All right, so let's get on to me applying this makeup, and I will list the products used in the description box. So if you miss anything, it'll all be there. All right, let's start putting things on this face before I scare the children. So I've got two primers here and I'm tossing up between the two. So originally I was going to use the Ombre Elise moisturizer, but I have been playing with it with the foundation, and I think it leaves it a little bit too dewy on my skin. If you had dry skin, I would highly recommend using this. It is a moisturizer, but you can also use it as a makeup primer or a moisturizing mask. So it is sort of versatile and it is very, very hydrating. But I've just noticed, yeah, using it over the last week or so under foundation, that on my oily skin in this sort of more hot, humid weather happening, it's a little bit too dewy for me. So I might stick to this as being a moisturizer at night because it's a beautiful, gentle moisturizer. I do have sensitive skin. You can see that I've got little like red patches. Also, I've got some contact dermatitis on my eye. So I like things that are really, really moisturizing and gentle. And this is fab. So I'm keeping it for that. So what I'm going to use instead as a base, and I feel like this is a little bit more suitable for my skin at the moment, this is the Murad Invisible Perfecting Shield Broad Spectrum SPF 15+. So I'm already wearing sunscreen, but I don't mind putting a little bit extra on. And this is a blurring primer, which I need help, guys. I need some help. So I'm going to give this a crack. All right, so I'm just going to use one pump. So it does come out like a gel, which is quite nice. It's quite light. You can put a small amount on. And it feels like it just sort of slips over the skin really easily. Doesn't ball up with my morning skincare, which is really great. And the sunscreen that I used, which is really great. I hate it when primers ball up. I don't like using them. So this is fab. Man, my skin's really bad today. I've just grabbed a little bit more because I really want to see if I can see it doing any blurring. I didn't actually look in the mirror when I applied it in the first time. Oh yeah, so it's got a bit of a sort of pore filling element, and it does look like it blurs pores, which is quite nice. All right, onto the foundation, and I really wanted to try the Double Wear Light because I want this look to be a little bit more fresh, a little bit lighter coverage. If I do have stuff peeking through, I'll just use a bit of concealer. I don't want this to be too heavy and too sort of like Instagram makeup, which I feel like the Double Wear Original sort of can feel a little bit heavy. I have been using this over the last week and a half, and I can say it wears really nicely under masks. So that's fantastic. If you apply it and you set it on oily skin, it wears really well throughout the day. Oils can come through a little bit, but it doesn't really budge too much, and under like, if you wear a mask, which we have to wear whenever we leave the house, it still can look really good, which I was impressed by. So I like this one. The shade that I have is 2N1 Desert Beige. So it is actually a little bit light for me, but since I was ordering it online, I erred on the side of caution, went a little bit lighter because I can always bronze it up. I went for a neutral shade because even though I am quite pink in the face, my skin is quite neutral. It's just my face that has a bit of redness. So let's apply this with a bit of a sponge. Using a Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. And again, I just want this to be sort of like a nice light, not light, but say medium amount of coverage. For me, since I have a lot of flaws, a lot of redness and a lot of patchiness, I do want something that has a bit of coverage, but I am not looking for that really perfected look. I just want it to be like nice skin. All right, so that's just a really quick layer that I threw on. You can see that there is some perfecting going on, so it's evening out my skin tone a little bit, but you can still see some of the imperfections and skin peeking through, which is what I sort of want. I don't want something that totally blanks out my face. I want it to look like skin, but I want it to look a little bit more put together, which is exactly what this has given me. So I'm going to fix these under eye situations a little bit with some concealer, and then we'll powder. All right, I'm gonna use my favorite concealer. This is just from Maybelline, and I haven't yet found something that I find works better. I've got one on the go, which is a bit gross, and I've got a brand new backup one because I always keep a backup. So this is the Fit Me concealer, and I use the shade Light. It's a really, really good shade match for me. I usually, if I have to pick do any foundation matching online, if I'm going to buy something, I usually match it to this concealer because this is always such a good one for me. Now, what I love about this concealer is that, okay, it's probably best for oilier skin because it does set under the eyes, but I find that it works so well with every base, every powder. There's so many concealers that I've tried that I'm like, yeah, it's actually quite nice. But then when I go to apply powder over it, it just creases, or some foundations it clashes with. This does not clash with any foundation, any powder, anything I've ever used. It works well on everything. And it's great for under the eyes and on the face. So yeah, if you've got oilier skin, like I'm just gonna add a little bit more coverage here where I have a little bit of redness going on. I even keep one of these in my handbag. So if I need to touch up something during the day, this works as sort of like a bit of a touch-up foundation. It's so good, I love it. I'm actually gonna blend that out with this mini Miracle complexion sponge from Real Techniques. I love these, I reckon these are so good. I actually forgot that I had them until I was rummaging around my drawers, and I was like, oh my God, I love these for little like under the eyes and concealer and stuff. It just gets right in there. All right, powder time. This is a MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in the shade Light Plus. So it is a baked powder. Now I've been playing with this last week and it does sort of give a nice natural finish. It's not too matte or too drying. So if you have normal skin or drier skin, but you still want to set your foundation or your concealer, I think this is quite a good one. But if you do have really oily skin, I don't feel like this sets it to a stage where you're quite matte, if that makes sense. So it's more of a softer effect that it gives, but it does set the foundation down so it's not too sort of tacky. So you can see that after it's been set, there is still some luminosity to the skin. So it's not a heavy, really drying powder, really mattifying powder. Also from MAC, this is a new bronzer. It's in one of their newer collections that have just launched. And this is in the shade Beijing Beauty. So it's a radiant matte bronzing powder. And I really like the tone of this. So it's quite a dark powder. So I'm gonna go in very, very lightly, but I love that it's not too orange or too red. It's almost got, because it's called a Beijing Beauty, it's almost got a cooler tone to it as well. So it's a really interesting color, but I really like it. And the good thing is you can go quite light. I'm using an IT Cosmetics brush here. You can go quite light with a really fluffy brush, or you can build it up and it does get quite deep. So let's just swatch this. So you can see there, it's quite a dark bronzer. So yeah, you can get quite a rich look if you go quite heavy-handed, or you can go quite light and make it a little bit softer. But I really like the tone of this bronzer. Okay, I'm just gonna tap some of that off because I really don't want to go too heavy-handed, but I do really want to warm up the skin because this foundation is a little bit light for me. So if your foundation is too light, I find that you can always go in with like a fluffy brush and just warm it up with some bronzer just to deepen it a bit. All right, the cheek product I want to go in with is one of my favorite products that I'm using today. Again, this is a fairly new product from MAC. This is the Glow Play Blush, and this is the shade That's Peachy. Now, this does lean quite pink, like it's definitely a peach, but on my skin it does lean a little bit pinker than I expected. I would have liked this to be a little bit more orange, but I really like the consistency of it and I love the finish. So this gives a really beautiful, so you can see how it looks quite pink, but it does have a bit of an iridescence to it. So you can get away with not even using highlighter with this. It's not a flat matte product. It's got a little bit of a sheen and it's not sparkly. It's almost like a pearlescent, beautiful sheen. I'll show it to you in a second. But this is one of those bouncy sort of mousse formulas that settle down to a powder, which is really pretty. So even on my set base, even on my matte foundation, this works really, really well. So I love products like this. And I think this gives such a really beautiful effect. Now I'm going in with a stippling brush. This is the Real Techniques stippling brush. There you go. Now I'm just gonna take a little bit off the back of my hand because this can be quite pigmented, but it gives a really beautiful effect. So you can see it is a peachy pink blush. There is some quite a bit of pigment to it, so you want to take it quite slow. So it looks so glowy and healthy, and that's a combination of it being a cream product but also having that little bit of a luminosity to it. It's really, really gorgeous. I don't even want to put highlighter on because that just gives a really beautiful sort of wet look glow, like a natural glow. All right, let's zoom in and do the eyes because this is a situation. Okay, I want to keep the eyes really quick and simple because I just don't want to spend too much time fussing about it. I just want a nice effect really, really quick. So I'm going to use two sort of eyeshadow products and then some liner. I'm going to use the bronzer again, just in the crease. And I'm using, I think this is a deluxe crease brush from Real Techniques. Mine's rubbed off, but let's just put a little bit of color in the crease here. So I'm just putting this on pretty fast without much precision because again, I just want this to be a really quick sort of look that isn't too perfect. All right, so I'm using the Smith & Colt. This is the Metallic Shift eyeshadow, and this shade is Bronze. Now, you probably can't see it on camera, but it does have like a multi-dimensional effect. It's got some gold, it's got some green. It's really, really pretty. I will swatch it. It does have a black base, so it can be quite smoky, but it is a really beautiful bronze with multi-dimensional shimmer in it. Now, I've been playing with this product all week and I've played with it in a few different ways. I find that if you get your brush and you pick up product from the applicator, you can have a little bit more control over where you're placing it, and you can also dab it off and apply it a little bit more sheerly. So I'm gonna start by doing that. I've dabbed a little bit off and I just wanna apply this quite lightly. You can see the blackened base has already sort of started to show through. So I'm just going in with that brush that I used in the crease just to blend it into the crease a little bit more for a more sort of seamless transition. If you did want a more subtle shimmery effect, you can just leave it there, and I've left it like that with a little bit of bronzer under my eyes multiple times, but I do want to show off the sparkle of this a little bit more. So if you wanted to take this more day to night, you can then just layer a little bit more and you get the beautiful twinkly effect. Now, this is a dark based product, so it is a little bit more smoky. I would love to see Smith & Colt bring out more of these without the darkened base because they wear really beautifully and they give a really gorgeous effect, but they are quite dark on the eye, as you can see. Now again, I'm just going to just blend the crease a little bit. And what I'm seeing, which I don't know if you can pick up on camera, I'm seeing sparkles of gold, green, purple. It's really multi-dimensional and really, really pretty. All right, I'm just gonna run a little bit of that bronzer under my eye just to sort of complete the eyeshadow element of this. All right, I want to add a little bit of a wing to this just to add a little bit more shape to lift my eyes. But I'll show you how I've been doing a really, really subtle wing these days. It's really easy with a baby. You just chuck a little bit of a wing on and it really helps sort of shape your eyes. So I'm using the roller liner from Benefit. This is in black. And all I do is just create a little bit of a triangle. So do a line from the outer corner of your eye, and then I just sort of bring it in to make that triangle shape. So I've done the wing and it meets the lash line, but I'm not carrying the line all the way in. And the reason I've stopped doing that recently is because A, this is a little bit easier and it doesn't look as heavy on the eye. I find that if you put thick liner all the way along, it can look a little bit heavy, whereas I want the lid space to sort of, or the color on the lid to really show a lot. So that's what I've sort of been doing a lot recently. Now I realize I don't have a bronze or brown eyeliner, pencil eyeliner that Adore Beauty stock, so I'm just gonna go in with whatever. So I'm just going in to put some color on my waterline and also my tight line. All right, eyelash curlers, because I want my lashes to be as curled and amazing as possible because I don't want to put any lashes on today. One of my favorite mascaras, Benefit Roller Lash. This is a fresh tube as well, so it's a bit fun. I love this mascara. It gives such a beautiful effect on the lashes. Like, I've got pretty stubby lashes, but they look pretty impressive right now. All right, eyes are done. Now let's deal with the elephants in the room, my really sparse brows. And I'm gonna use my favorite brow combo. So I've got the Goof Proof brow pencil from Benefit and the Precisely My Brow pencil from Benefit. So this one's in 3.5, this one's in 4.5. You'll see how I use it in a second. But I like to start with the Goof Proof, which is a bigger pencil. And I like to do that just to sort of fill in the bulk of my brow, just really fast and quick. So I'm just going to brush that out, but I applied that really, really fast just to sort of give a bit of color to the bulk of my brows. I love that both of these pencils have spoolies on them, so helpful. Then I go in with the smaller pencil and I sort of define it a bit more. So I like to mimic hairs, which is why I like this pencil to be a little bit darker than the base, so I can sort of draw hairs over the base color and just add in any strokes where there's a lot of hairs missing. All right, so on to my favorite time, the lips. And if you wanted to tone this down a little bit or make it a little bit more mask friendly, I would suggest using a lip balm type product. This is the Ultraviolet Sheen Screen Hydrating Lip Balm. It's in the shade Nude and this is SPF 50+, so it's really, really good for summer. And it's just a nice lip balm. So it doesn't give much color at all. It just adds a bit of a sheen, hydrates the lips, and it gives SPF protection, which is really great. So if you wanted to tone down the look a little bit and have the focus on the eyes, you could definitely go for something like this. But you know me, I want to wear a red. So I've just taken the majority of that off. There's a little bit left just for some added hydration. But I'm going to go in with this new product from MAC. This is the Powder Kiss Liquid Lip Color and the shade's gorgeous. It's in MAC Smash. It's got a weird sort of hourglass shape applicator, but the color is phenomenal. So let's go. Gives me like a Ruby Woo vibe. It's very pretty. MAC Smash indeed. That is a gorgeous color and I think it works really nicely with the brown sparkly eye. This is like a going out, having fun, having a cocktail if you possibly can sort of look. I love this lip. Now I have worn this a couple of times. This is a very different formula to what sort of we've been used to with liquid lipsticks. It doesn't dry down sort of powdery and set. It's got more of a silicone feel to it. So it gives that matte, soft sort of blotted effect, but it is still movable. So this is something that will transfer if you're drinking or eating, but it's very, very comfortable and it doesn't dry out your lips during the day, but it gives a really cool effect to the lips. So I really dig it. All right, so that is my full face of products minus the pencil liner from Adore Beauty. Some of these products were gifted to me from Adore Beauty. Others I just had in my collection. So it was fun actually pulling out products and having a play and creating a look that I wish I could wear more often. Having a baby and being in a pandemic, it's very hard to go out for like evening drinks, but sometimes I can pretend that I can and just play with makeup. So I want to give a big thank you to Adore Beauty for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate the support and it's a really, really great website that I've been using for years and years. So if you haven't checked it out before, I will have all the products that I used listed in the description box and the link to the website where you can find it. So thank you so much again and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.